and action.
Yeah.
What? I don't know why I'm anxious for this episode.
I would be. If I was getting interviewed by me, I would be anxious.
Just before the episode started, just so you know, we said to Anna, just chuck whatever you want in there. And she said, do not give me that autonomy. And I was like, okay, I'm taking that back.
I'm
No, you
excited.
said it.
I love spice.
No, do
Okay.
you know what though? Like this happens every episode. I'm not good with questions I haven't prepared for.
So
So
you do a nervous poo doll.
I'll keep the anal questions out, I promise. It's fine.
I need to know what's coming. So I just don't know how the next hour is going to go. So
I do. I do. It's going to be a lot of fun. You girls should be celebrated. And we're going to kick it off with celebrating your 100th episode with a pop. Block your ears if you don't like champagne popping. Oh, but it is the best sound in the world. So congratulations, my loves. Here we are. Here we sit for our 100th, your 100th episode. Ours. Who do I think I am?
You're welcome to join.
I was going to say, that's why we got Anna on the show, because you have been here. I think you were one of the first guests we had on the show. And this season was all about
That was years ago.
celebrating women. And we're like, 100th episode's coming up. And to be fair, I was like, oh, let's just do a normal episode. And Shani's like, no, fuck that. We are celebrating. And then she's like, let's get Anna on because Anna's going to bring the spice.
It makes sense to A, get your bestie on, but B, get the most provocative person we know.
And why don't we start there?
Let's do it.
I would love to. I just think it's something that we all want to know. I think as besties, we talk about it often. So I love bringing the background bestie chats to the mic.
I'm so nervous.
So lady, and I won't let you off the hook. If I feel like you're not answering honestly, I'll be like,
I'm just laughing because I can imagine if our hubbies were here, because I think both of our hubbies are pretty private people. So I feel like they'd be like, don't answer that if they'll hear, don't you reckon?
I make no apology, Dan and Matt. Let's go. On that, let's start here because it is Babes Talking Business, but babes in business also have sexual sides, they have feminine sides, they have mother sides. And so as women in general, what are both your relationships to intimacy, into me I see, and sex? Do you struggle or thrive?
Juicy.
I feel like I want Shani to go first.
This is like that game we were playing. What's that game?
Bad friends or bad people. I think it was called Bad People.
Best.
And like I always had to go first because you just, I don't know why.
I feel like me and Anna are open books. You're more mysterious. So it's like, you go.
Okay, what was the question? How do we go?
What are both your the question was, what are both your relationships to intimacy and sex? Struggle or thrive?
Okay.
I believe what this question really wants to get to the root of is, and what
Do you have
everyone
sex
always
problems?
do you have sex problems? Like,
Yeah,
do you have a thriving sexual relationship in your marriage? Is it like, do you go through seasons?
Look,
Do you do anal? I'm just kidding.
you said no anal
I'm
question.
not kidding.
To be fair, when we had Rui, and I'm actually interested to know about you, but yes, there was like definitely a season there. It was like, wow, we really need to like fix this. But right now it's great. And you know what actually has really spiced up our sex life? These books that Loz has got me on. And
You smutty sluts.
I am addicted to them.
Yes.
Seriously. So what would you call them? Are they like romantic?
Fairy porn. No, they're called smut.
I was going to say they're called smut
all
novels.
the girls are
Yeah.
on it.
Smut.
You guys are listening to this because you know what I'm talking about. The smut's where it's at.
Do you read smut?
I don't, because I have it in the bedroom every day.
Look, I have it in the bedroom, but I actually really love, like, it gives me ideas.
Okay.
Doesn't it?
You have to, on this topic, you have to talk about the conversation you have with Maddie about microwave sex and what the books are. Because we were talking about, like, why the books are so good, because it's like, do you remember that conversation we're having with the girls?
Oven sex and microwave
yeah,
sex.
you have to explain that. I feel like that's it.
Absolutely go there.
Yes. Okay. Well, there's a philosophy and it's called microwave sex and oven sex. And oven sex is like the type of sex that, like, you know, it takes time. You've got to heat the oven up. You know, you got to butter the chicken. You got to do all the right things for it to taste really good. And then there's microwave sex, which is just like you just chuck it in there, slap it in, put it on, and you're done. And there's definitely, there's time for microwave sex and there's time for oven sex.
What do
And we're
you
saying
prefer?
the
Hang on.
But that's
What
where
do
the
you
books came
prefer?
in though, because we're saying that's why I think women are loving these smut books, us included, because it's like oven sex. It's like all it's the mind stuff. It's not just like the physical stuff they get in women's head, because these books are written by women.
And
They
in
understand
saying
women.
that though, I refuse to read 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓 because I cannot wait 3 books to get to the spice. Like I'm one of those, like I need the spice now. I'm a microwave girl.
I was like, okay, she's
You
a microwave girl.
I mean, the oven sex is nice. It's
Give me oven.
definitely has its
oven.
place. But sometimes
Lozzie.
Yeah, you can bring it this way. Come on, Ryan. Give us
Ryan's
the goods.
right.
Give
The
us
king
the
is
goods.
here
Get
to
in
deliver the
here.
bev.
cheers to our
100th
handyman.
episode. Thanks,
Cheers.
Ryan. Thanks, darling.
Cheers.
Yeah,
This is
no.
an intense flute.
I'm pretty open and honest. I'm a very sexual person and we've always had a pretty good sex life, but it's also I instigate that. I've got a bigger sex drive than my husband.
That's so fascinating though, and that is something that so many women would want you to unpack even more.
I think if you've read my book, The Surrender Project, I kind of go through that too. So that could be a whole episode in itself. But yeah, I don't know.
Buy the book.
I've got a sexual, I don't know.
I did come
unpack
over
that
the
more
other
than that.
day and we were going for a run and she's like, I've just had sex.
I was like, when you have a young baby though, it's like, I'm all about the midday sex. It's like the nap windows.
Same.
The nap windows.
Loz is so funny. Loz will be like, hey, yeah, we just checked into our hotel and we just had sex and then we went and I'm like, you just tell everyone.
I feel like you're thinking it. You're like, what are they doing? You're like, oh, we just had sex. Like, that's why we haven't gone anywhere.
Here's a supplementary question that isn't on here. So because I know this, again, this is something that's so important for women to hear because you both are mothers and I'm not yet, right? So you both said there are seasons, which there definitely are. And when that occurs, if there is a dry spell or you're not feeling it or you're exhausted or whatever else, whatever that looks like for you, how do you communicate with your husbands to get out of that? What does that look like?
Yeah. I think it's just talking. I think it's just a big piece of it is talking. And I think for me, love language comes in hand because my love language is touch, which is I think why I'm the more sexual person in our relationship too, because like that is how I show love and I receive love. So if I'm not getting love or sex in the bedroom, it's so much more than just sex. And that's when it would bring up a conversation. I'll say, babe, I'm feeling distant from you. Or so I feel like, yeah, it's just communicating.
So important. So powerful. Important. Okay, let's go here because I am interested to see how you both answer this personally and I will pull it out of you. But are you both still doing Juice Plus?
Yes.
Thank you. On the record.
Yes,
thank you.
on
Yes.
the record.
Yes.
Do you know what though? What I love about network marketing, and I know we've had this conversation, what I love about it is like you build it once and you build it great and it pays you for a lifetime. And I think like for me in particular, like I'm a manifesting generator. I'm multi-dimensional, multi-passionate. I need to be able to put my fingers in other pies and like definitely like diversify. And I am multi-passionate in the sense that I love Juice Plus and I'm in it and I'll be in the network marketing profession forever because it's phenomenal and it's changed my life. And I want to make sure that people who were like me 10 years ago find the opportunity, but that doesn't mean that it like I'm boxed in it.
Yeah.
I love that I can do other things as well and bring in the skill sets that I've learned from Juice Plus into other modalities. So 100% still doing Juice Plus. Will always be a Juice Plus girl.
Yeah. I was like, it's funny how people circle back and like, should you join our company? I'm like, I'm never going to leave the profession. I'm never going to leave our company either. So I'm like,
our company's a great one.
Yeah, it's never a matter of a conversation with a company for me. If you see us doing other things like Shen said, it's because we are multi-passionate. And I think talking about the whole season thing, like there was a season, I've always had other things on the go. I was always coaching, writing books, like doing things alongside network marketing. And then when we became mums, like our capacity shrunk. So I think both of us just enjoyed our network marketing income and our team. But now that I've got my capacity open back up, I'm hungry again. And a big part for me is like, I love like high achievers.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I think I struggle with network marketing because it's so open to anyone that for me to get my needs met, I need to go and make sure I'm networking with other high achievers because I find that personally why I can't just do network marketing by itself because the entry level is so low and anybody can do it, but not everyone comes in with the same work ethic. So.
Yeah. I think as well, just to offer for you ladies, like no one gets to, like, it's this permission slip for everyone and all women all of the time that you don't ever have to be one label. You were never just network marketers ever. I was never just a network marketer ever.
You know what? There was a season where I was, and I was happily, lovingly just a network marketing professional. But
multifaceted.
You don't have to be if you don't want to. I think that's the beauty of the profession. Like you get to have this and that.
Yes. Yes and both, baby.
Yes and both.
Okay, we're going to stay here only because I think it's powerful and it's a large portion of your beautiful listener base. But a question was asked, in what way can you create leaders in a network marketing team?
Ooh, a few things come to mind for me. Things that I think I knew at the start, like you hear this, but it probably wasn't until a few years in that I really, like, I listened to it and actually implemented it. First thing is stop giving answers. Like if you're giving answers, you're like, I always think about, how do I make myself replaceable? So if you can do this right from the get-go when you're starting network marketing, keep asking yourself, how do I make myself replaceable? It's not about like at the start, yes, the accolades are great and the recognition is great, but get on the stage, then get off it. Do a training, then raise someone else to do the training. If people need to come to you for answers, you don't have a business. You're just a glorified employee. So stop giving answers. Every time you do something, turn around and ask yourself, how can I replace myself and empower somebody else to do that? They'll be my 2 tips for that.
I think the biggest lesson I have learned in network marketing and trying to raise up great leaders in that quest is allow people to have the autonomy to do it how they want to do it. It's so easy to be like, this is what works and this is how we're going to do it as a collective. But I think there's strength in that. But what I have found is allowing people to just fly the way they want to fly has been really powerful. And I've learned a lot of lessons in raising up leaders, in particular in the last year, 2 years with having Rui, because when I stepped away to have my sabbatical to be a mum, it really like highlighted to me what I had set up beforehand. And that was, I did a really great job in some aspects and a really poor job in other aspects. And I realized like my desire to like just get it done because no one else will do it. Like that's just that was my mantra. No one's going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Or that's not going to get done the way that I want it to get done. I'm just going to do it. And what I actually set up was this adult playground where everyone relied on me to do everything because I was willingly like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll fix that. I'll do that. Yep, no worries. Like, you don't do that. Don't worry. You don't do that. I'll do it. And I actually shot myself in the foot. That's not how you raise leadership. So probably like the biggest thing I've learned over the last 2 years is to stop trying to control, give people autonomy, allow them to like go and make the resources. If the resources aren't available, don't like, yes, I think there's strength in the leader that goes, oh, that's not available. I'm going to create something really great for the team. But there's a fine line between I'm just going to like do everything for everyone and baby everyone. And that's been my biggest lesson in network marketing. And I am functioning from such a different place now after learning that. I refuse to spoon feed people in the profession. Like I just will not do it because we're all individual business owners. Like if the resource isn't made, go and make it yourself. And that's, I believe, how you raise great leaders.
It's true. What I got from that, from both of you though, really was just like ultimately like my way isn't the way. Go forth, grow.
We actually had this conversation, was it yesterday? Like there is no perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
There's no like one epic strategy.
And I've actually seen so many great leaders that they choose to leave network marketing, but they've also kind of felt like they've been pushed out because a lot of people come to network marketing because one of their highest values is freedom and autonomy. And if they're getting told, hey, you can do this, but only like this way, they're going to lose, they're going to leave. So if you can understand this is how you also keep great leaders. Like you said, let them fly. Like if you're going to tell them how to do something, most people are attracted to this profession for autonomy and freedom. You're going to be the one that you're like self-sabotaging your own business because a lot of good people are going to leave if you don't allow them to lead the way they want to lead.
Yeah, powerful. So powerful. Okay, off the record, like no question here, but just as you were talking, I was like, I want to go here because as a best friend, I know I've watched you both in business pre-babies and pre-motherhood and now in motherhood? So I'd be interested for you to answer. And I just know from coaching thousands of women and myself, like the number one thing is always like motherhood and sex, or motherhood and business, or motherhood and insert the thing here. What did you both find the most, like, not shocking, but what changed for you both the most in business when you first became mothers? What was like the thing that you didn't expect, or like, fuck, this was huge for me, or this changed for me? What was that?
Oh, I'm going back to the time where I was just like, this is so fucked.
Good on you for saying that, because that's just permission itself. I feel like some women wouldn't even admit that, but
yeah. Oh my God. Having Rui was such a blessing, and I feel it now, but in the thick of like transitioning back into business after having him, which I started working around 5 or 6 months after he was born. Like I had a really long like time off. That's really long for some people. That's actually quite short for some. But for me, that was like really long, like for someone who loves their business. And the number one thing was, holy shit, I can't do this the way that I used to do it. Like I have lost the capacity, the time, like that postpartum brain fog. Like you can't think straight, you can't problem solve, you're not a critical thinker, you're emotional. Like so many parts of the old Shani and how I used to run my business, which was like I used to just like run laps around people because I could. I had the capacity to, I had the time, I had the energy, and that was just how I functioned. But then throw a baby into the mix and you're just like, it takes your breath away. It's like you get kicked in the guts. You're just like, oh, I've got to change everything. Like, and that was actually really unexpected. I, to a degree, I expected like things were going to look different. Like I'm not going to be able to do 8-10 hour days like I used to. I want to go deeper with that and then I'm going to come to you, Lozzie, but because I just know your listeners, like I know they're mothers, I know they're in business, I know they're women, I know they're hungry to learn from you because you are both the best at what you do in my opinion. What did that identity burning then look like? So, because that is huge. So that your Shani, the identity is Shani, this boss bitch who gets everything done and can handle it all. Then you have Rubert, and then the identity of who you were dies and you're reborn. How did you, and it can be short, it can be quick, like how did you get through that as a woman? What did that look like? Was it like I just read books, I meditated? What was that?
I cried a lot.
Excellent.
I cried a lot and just gave myself grace. And I think I started plugging into some trainings where there was like other mothers in business taking like masterminds or trainings or whatever, but they were further beyond, like they were further ahead than me in terms of like they had older kids. And it was just like really refreshing. Like that's how I got back into things. I was like, I just like need to recalibrate, but also like I need a new identity. And like I remember like I changed my wardrobe, I changed everything because I was like the old person's gone now. So it was really about giving myself grace in that transformation. And that's where her renaissance was born, because we were both like, WTF, like we are going through a rebirth right now. Like we are not the same humans we were. And I think everything we learned in that journey is so beautifully like reflected in her renaissance, because everything we were going through, like when we were in the thick of it, is in there. But honestly, it was just grace, crying a lot, plugging into women that inspired me who had done it before me, and just like surrendering. That was the number one thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm learning because I selfishly am learning pre-babies.
It's interesting because I feel like the process that you went through when Rue came, I went through it like 6 months before Stevie came, and my surrender process was my pregnancy.
Yeah, because you were so
because
sick.
I was so sick. So like my whole rebirth, losing my identity, was in my pregnancy phase, but for the same reasons. Like I'm used to being so productive, and I'm used to like I did find my worth in my work ethic.
Yeah.
And my pregnancy made me so sick where I spent like all day in bed vomiting. Like I had HG. So like it was a really, like, I can't sugarcoat it. It was a really just tough, shitty pregnancy. My mental health, couldn't drink water, couldn't quench a thirst, couldn't walk. Like I think I tried one day to go to an event with Shani, and I think it's the first time they saw how bad it was. Like I was vomiting like every 20 minutes and just crying, being like, this is fucked. So I think for the same reason I went through that in my pregnancy, because it was the same reason. I just felt like I'm not, who am I? I can't work. I can't do anything. Like I just felt like yuck.
You feel helpless. Hey?
You feel helpless. And I just like, it is like, you like, who am I if I'm not this? So like, but that's, if you've read my book, The Surrender Project, it was exactly that. So I think a lot of the belief work that most women go through when they have babies, I did it in my pregnancy for the same reason. Like everything that I've thought I was and I've prided myself on, I lost that before Steve even came. So it was really nice. I felt like a lot of the identity work, that's the gift. I look back in hindsight of my pregnancies that I actually did a lot of that before Stevie came. And if I hadn't, I think I would have been in a lot of like, it would have, pregnancy would have been like birth and motherhood would have been a big shock. But personally, what surprised me once Stevie did come, and still, it's still something I grapple with, is like I've always been a really ambitious, driven person, and I pride myself on independence. And it still takes me by surprise how it's like an innate thing for me where I'm like, I have days where I'm like, I actually just want to be a stay-at-home mum. And I've never thought, I used to like, and I feel kind of embarrassed and guilty to say this, but not that I look down on women that are just stay-at-home mums, because they're never just stay-at-home mums, but there's never been that drive in me to just be a stay-at-home mum. I'm like, I want a career. I want to have my own thing.
You want to create and earn.
But I definitely have periods where I'm like, I actually just want to disappear and just be at home with my kids and be a stay-at-home mum. Like I still grapple with it. And like this is a meme the other day that came up, and it's like the stories that you go through. I'm just going to quit my business. I'm just going to be a stay-at-home mum. Fuck it. I need a married guy with lots of money. Nah, fuck, I'll go do my business. Actually, maybe I'll go get a job. Nah, let's have another kid. Let's go for number 2. And like the things that your brain goes through. And like, but that's what surprised me the most is like the loss. I don't know if it's a loss of ambition, but like, I've never thought I just want to be a mum, but there's lots of days for me personally where I'd like to just disappear and just be a mum.
It's not loss of ambition. You just like your priorities change and your values change.
Yeah.
It's change of identity.
Yeah.
Why I've pulled this out of you both though, and I want to like pin it and preface it, is to say that I know women look at you, because I hear it as your best friends, like they're enamored by you and they're inspired by you, and they constantly look at the glory of these two powerful, successful you are. Like I even know the back end, you know, the real deal, like who you are when no one's watching, what you say when no one else is in the room. Like you are the real deal, and that's why you're successful, because people feel that. But I do feel like people and women will see the glory but not necessarily know the story. But it's like you've both still suffered and struggled and lost identities and cried and felt lost and been sick as a fucking dog. I know how bad that was for you in your pregnancy, and yet still you rise, right? And that's that piece of like, if women are watching or women are listening, I want them to look at the glory, know the story, but still push and succeed, because that's what you girls do so beautifully. Okay, so the next question is, actually it is in here sort of, but just watching you both as well as I interview, so many people say, you would never hire a friend, don't work with a friend. Like if you work with friends or hire a friend, you know, that sort of, or start a business with a friend, you can ruin the friendship, or you would never do it. I call bullshit on that. I know you guys call bullshit on that. What has been the greatest gift for you both in working as besties over the last, 7 years? 7 years.
Whoa.
8 years. 8 years.
Good question.
What's been the gift and what's been the challenge?
I will throw a spanner in that, because I actually don't know if I think in some way I would actually agree with that, because me and Shani weren't friends when we started business together. Like we actually started business together before we were friends. Like we've become friends because of business.
But we are friends. Well, I think we're friends before.
No, we're
the
friends.
Therapy couch.
No.
Here we go.
We're friends before business, but we weren't friends before business. Is what I'm trying to say.
True. That's
like
true.
Because I actually have seen a lot of my friends go into business with friends, and they think they know a friend, but I actually don't think you know a friend until you work with them. You see a lot of parts of a friend that you wouldn't know until you're in business with them. And I think what's made our friendship stronger is we didn't know each other before business, but when we got into business together, we've loved each other, and now our friendship comes before business, because we see each other how we work behind the scenes. Like you said, I know her integrity. I know the standard she holds herself to. I know her heart. I know, working with someone in business is one of the most intimate spiritual things you'll ever do. And so I think you don't know someone till you do business. So
in saying that, we've butted heads.
Yeah, definitely. Like definitely. We
but
can
we're
talk about
great
that
communicators.
Too. But I think
we would be great as a couple.
You too?
We are the yin and the yang. So I guess the
shame you love dick.
the gift in it is that we and I think the reason why we work so well, and I don't know if you'll attest to this, is actually because I think we complement each other really well. Like if you look at any like traditional business, you have like a CEO and a COO, or like you have someone who's a visionary and you have someone who's an implementer. Like you have, we're the yin, you're the yang. I always think she's the moon, I'm the sun. She's like the gentle, I'm the fucking fire. Like, she'll come up with great ideas. I'll execute or be the systems girl. Like she's like when we work together, even with podcasting stuff, she's the beautiful one who creates all the beautiful stuff that you see. She's the creative, and I'll write all the copy. So like, I just think, we work together well.
We both work to our strengths, and what I suck at, you're great at, and what you're not so great at, I'm really good at.
I think that's so powerful though to know, and that is a lesson within the question, in the sense that if people ask, because again, people look at you, I know you did meet, obviously you met through network marketing, and you like, that was the relationship. So you weren't besties before, and you have formed such a beautiful relationship. But I think the lesson in that is stunning, that it's like, don't think you can just work with your bestie, because you might be useless. But you two complement each other really powerfully and beautifully.
We are very compatible.
I think as well, what I've witnessed as well, and this is so important from a sisterhood friendship perspective lesson, is you guys, we all like have each other's backs fiercely. And I think in business, when it doesn't work, there's a fracture when you actually realize the girl you thought had your back doesn't. I think that's the big thing, because I hear stories all the time, and it's like, no, that's just not you two. Okay, I want to talk about money. Let's go here, because I know obviously
our favorite topic.
Money. Love money. So I'm probably there might be like lots of questions off this, but let's talk about it. Let's go big picture. Let's just go big picture first. What does it look like for you both? How many income streams do you have? Let's just say that.
I should know this number off the top of my head.
Why don't you just like tease them out and talk about them? Because I'm like, I don't know how to count. But
and say it, right?
Yeah,
is it shares? Is it real estate? Is it network marketing?
I think that's a powerful
You don't need to say the number. I don't think people need to know numbers specifically ever. But you can say like, I have 4 income streams in real estate, shares, whatever that is.
Yeah, I think it's a powerful conversation. And I know we're going to touch on this too, because I think when people talk about wealth, and this is something that I know Shannon and I were talking about, we were hoping our community would like, we're passionate about educating women, and something we actually want you to be more obsessed with isn't so much like the income. It's what you do with the income to create net worth. So yeah, like me and my hubby, and there's so many great books. I know we've got so many podcast episodes in this as well, but Barefoot Investor, he encourages you to have like a date night every like 3 months. And so Dan and I do it every quarter, where we sit down and we look at our investments, and we talk about different income streams. So we both have companies. We both pay ourselves wages. In regards to like my stuff, I've got my books, my coaching, network marketing company, which even that has 6 income streams in our network marketing company business.
What do you mean by that? People will go, what? What do you mean by 6?
You get paid 6 different
ways. Yeah, you get paid 6
different ways.
Right.
Like you got commissions, retail profits, bonuses, residual income, business incentive bonuses. So we've got network marketing, wages, books, coaching. We also invest in shares. So we've got index funds. We're angel investors in other businesses, then cryptocurrency. And we're currently in the process, we sold our property, and now we're in the process of buying 2 investment properties. So that's
boss moves.
Lots of different things.
So what is that? So you've got network marketing, shares. I will, guys. Okay. I'm a numbers gal. So real estate, about to be, definitely. Real estate, network marketing, shares, wages, and then investments, really, because I think angel investment. 5 income streams, ladies. 5. Very powerful. Shan?
Network marketing, our property, which is, I think there's 2 there. There's like our developments that we do, and then there's our like developments that we hold, which will be Airbnb very soon. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Cryptocurrency, stocks and shares, my book.
Oh my God, I want to talk about that as well.
Coaching 7. And like my online offers. So like I kind of like, some of them are the same thing, but there's 8.
Not
there.
really. I love it too because like both of you are like, I know numbers, but like I know your numbers, but I love that it's like property. Shan, it's like so humble. Like
She's building a
you're
hotel,
building
guys.
an
We're doing an
empire
office.
and a hotel. Properties.
We could do an episode on that.
Wild. And then you shares. I know your portfolio is fucking outstanding. Shares. Anyway, boss. So boss. Okay. The next question I want to ask. Actually, I want to stay on the book. And both of you have written books, which again, and it's an income stream, right? That's so powerful as well. Like people have to understand that. I know it's not like the most lucrative, but still. But Shan, there was a question here, and I know the answer, but answer it please. Are you going to be doing a public book launch where anyone can come?
On the 6th of June, which is while we're recording next Thursday. When this comes out, it'll be this Thursday. But if you miss it, there'll be a playback. So you can DM me the word party and you'll be invited to my online book launch party.
Come party. I'm excited. I'm fucking excited. I'm actually in the process of reading Shani's book and it's amazing. And then we have an episode coming up where she's going to take you through the process in a book where she's going to do my birth chart so you can see how amazing it actually is. It's epic.
Guys,
So
I'm
epic.
reading, I'm like halfway through your book. This is not, I told Lozzie and I was like, I actually need to tell Shani, but I haven't. So you're just hearing it live. I'm like halfway through your book. I've been telling Ryan, it is life-changing.
Oh,
It is, I'm a reader. I read and like I have been doing all the exercises. I am on the Astra app. I am breaking it down.
Yes.
It is by the book.
I would love to read your natal chart.
Oh.
Why haven't I ever done that?
Yeah, bitch.
Give me your girl.
No, but honestly, and I went up to, anyway, I am so deep in your book and I launched Lozzie's book. So I'm like, guys, if you have not yet read their books,
My next book is going to be an erotica book.
Shani said this the other day and I'm like, I'm still like rattling like
I would
literally.
love to. But my question is, can I have a spiritual self-help book and a dirty one?
Yes,
I masturbate with a
definitely.
rose quartz dildo. So that's spiritual and is that not? That is the spiritual and the erotic. Guys,
I love it.
I will just give
Permission.
give you some stories and you can add them in as fiction.
Oh,
Ryan and I
great.
stories.
I'm just going to interview you two for my book, my next book.
You can. I will absolutely allow that. Okay. In serious, no, screw that. But how you ladies are the queens of, I think, in fact, and this is in your book, Shani, but like working to your strengths, right? And a lot of the questions that have come up in the answers that you've spoken to, building leaders in network marketing, investing, all those things. It's all about like work with your strengths, building businesses as best friends. So how to find your purpose and strength when feeling lost. And I want you to go back as well, maybe to motherhood, like if that was a period, or pregnancy, right? Like what did that look for you? Because right now we're killing it. We're happy. Life is good. It's easy to answer this question. But I think go feel that question. So how to find your purpose and strengths when feeling lost. Answer it from when you felt lost and what you actually did, if you can remember.
It's really interesting because I'm reading Shani's book and it's I feel like we both go through the same process through different lens, because I feel like everything you teach is through the moon, and like I'm reading your book and I'm like, this is like all my strengths and I know that, but the way I landed to my strengths was through psychology, and that you land at the same space. So like because to answer that question, when I was going through like shit times in my pregnancy, like, and even now, like my North Star is I just keep coming back to what gives you energy. So there's a phenomenon in psychology called flow, which is like where like flow is needed for fulfillment. And it's like, where does time just disappear? Like where do you like just not look at the clock? Like where are you just like so immersed? And for me, like that's always been when I'm reading. I found it when I was writing my books, when I'm dancing, when I'm running. So when I'm like, how I reconnect or realign with my strengths is asking myself like what makes you feel good? When am I in flow? Where do I experience flow? And if I'm finding it really hard to find it in that circumstance, just ask myself, where have I previously found it? And I feel like a lot of people when they're adults, they lose flow and they lose fulfillment because they start prioritizing like just life as an adult and all the things that we have to do and obligations and expectations of what, or comparing what people are doing in society and on social media. If you ask yourself what gave you flow as a child and what made you happy as a child, it's usually those things that we found so freely and easily and were accessible as kids that we just stop prioritizing as we become adults. So just those simple questions for me personally is like, yeah, what makes me feel good? When am I in flow? And if haven't found it or experienced it for a while, when was the last time I felt it? And I just kind of realign and use that as my North Star. And then how can I infuse that in my day? How can I align my business with that? How can I monetize that? And so you can kind of realign your business and your wealth creation strategy with that too.
I talk about this in the book. Like, I felt lost before I even fell pregnant in my business. Like, I was at a point where I was exhausted, overwhelmed, burnt out. And I had been stagnant in my business at that point for quite some time, which was frustrating for a high performer because all you want to do is win and keep growing. And so for me, I felt lost back then. That was like 2021, because I was like, what I'm doing is not working, and what I'm doing is not fun, and what I'm doing is what everyone's telling me to do because I can see that person's creating success this way. So I'm just going to copy their blueprint and their system, and it's not working and it's frustrating. So I felt really lost. And so what I came to was realizing that I think there's no like the $1 million strategy for business. There are so many ways to create success in business. There's so many blueprints that you could follow. And I'm not dissing anyone who sells a blueprint or a system. I think there are incredible people out there who help people who are lost in business to go, right, follow this. This is how I did it. This is how I created $1 million. This is how I created viral reels. This is how I created whatever. But at the end of the day, I believe it comes down to, and the reason I believe it comes down to this is because this is how I found my way, was actually just knowing who the fuck I was. And that's like, I felt lost because I lost myself. Like, I lost who I was. I lost my strengths, like what my gifts were, what my purpose was, what my vision was. Like, I lost all those little things, which like built up to this like shell of a human who was lost, right?
How did you find her again though?
Well, this is where like it came down to my astrology. Like,
Yeah.
I actually used my astrology to be like, look, like the stars don't define us, okay? I do believe that there is energy that is out there that allows us to tap into, well, maybe this is who I am. And so that's why I love the whole natal chart thing, because it's not like concrete, but it's also for you to be intuitive with and be like, I really resonate with that. Yes, I am a great communicator and I do create great community. So maybe that's what I should lean into. And so like really exploring, actually the way I found myself was I did a human design course because I was like, I want to learn about this, which kind of uses astrology a little bit, right? And it was an amazing course, but learning who I was in a human design profile was great. But I was like, wait a minute, I've got 10 years of knowledge of astrology, that this is kind of the same thing. So I'm going to go back to my roots, which is what I'm passionate about, what I know really well. And I just started reading my chart and I was like, oh my God, of course I'm a visionary because my Sagittarius is in my first house. So of course I'm an expander for everybody else. And then that kind of helped me realize like, okay, this is how I communicate. This is like the type of expander I am for people. And I leaned into what I loved and left what I didn't. And then I found myself through that. But the whole like thing about being lost, coming back to the question, like, how do you find yourself? There's no right way. There's so many ways. There's psychology, there's astrology, there's, whatever. But I think it comes down to, if you feel lost, you need to find yourself in your vision. That's really important. In your self-knowing and self-trust. And that's all like sacral chakra energy. So it's like a lot of sacral healing. And so that's, more in my book about that.
Buy the book. Buy the book. It's so beautiful for me to witness your answers though, because it's funny as well because I've read both your books. I'm halfway through yours because it's only just launched. I have read yours twice. And I'm like, you could just go buy your books, because I am like, to answer that question though, it's funny because how you both answered as well is very to both of your personality types. And I'm like, yes, that makes so much sense to 𝗦𝗢, and that's very in your book. And then I'm like, that is just you, and that is completely your book right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like you work to your strengths and that's how you found yourself, and I've worked to my strengths and that's how I've found myself. Like we're so individual. Like,
but I think that's the answer, right? It's
the
to
answer.
know yourself.
Know who you are.
And then when a woman goes, okay, so then say a woman goes, but I don't know who I am. What would you say to her?
When was the last time you felt like you did know who you were? I bet you there's been a time in her entire life where she's felt ignited or activated or aligned or excited, or she's had a moment of clarity, and it's just about coming back to like, okay, where were you and what happened and what did someone say that resonated with you, or what was a light that you had, what was a vision that sparked that. I really think there's at least one moment in time, or even sometimes I'm like, well, when are you activated? Like what happens? Is there a moment when something pisses you off, or maybe you're jealous, you're looking at somebody else, because that's also triggering something that's in you that's your truth. Like what is your North Star? You have it. So sometimes you've got to be, sometimes where you're so self-aware that you're responsible for going and chasing it, but sometimes you're so unconscious of it. It actually is an unconscious reaction and you react, like it reacts to triggers and stuff. I'm like, okay, what's that? There's something within you that's telling you, hey, I'm jealous of that because that's something that's important to me. Or hey, I'm inspired by that. Or even when you're looking at somebody and you're like, I love her, you only see something in someone else that's in you. So like allow that to be your mirror. What a part of that is attracting you to them, because you only see in others what you are. So there's ways you can kind of look for it, and it's that's being mirrored to you, maybe without you even unconsciously knowing. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I think, and this is why I wanted to pull this out of both of you within the questions. So the questions within the questions, because women are asking this, but I think ultimately when a woman is stuck and she doesn't know her purpose and she's feeling lost and she's looking at the bright, shiny story, like I was saying before, this is for the woman now that feels like that she's like, she wants more. She wants more money. She wants more sex. She wants more abundance. She wants more friendship. What is the one thing? You have to just say one thing. I don't know it, right? I'd have to sucker like you. I'm putting you on the spot. But what can you say to her, that woman that knows she's worth more, that wants more, that deserves more, that whatever, like wants more in sex, life, love, money, abundance, everything. What would you say would be the start? Like what's the one thing she needs to focus on? Is it communication? Is it energy? Is it astrology? Like what's that one thing?
I think it's vision.
I was about to say the same thing. It's vision.
Oh, there you go.
Vision. It's like
we always talk about this because like for
how
us,
powerful.
It's crystal clear.
Yeah. Like I know a lot of women don't, but I think that's why they get lost. It's like
they don't know what they want.
But you know what? I actually was been thinking about this today even when you were saying that. I feel like a lot of women do
know what they want,
but they're pretending that they don't because it sounds so far-fetched, or they don't think they're deserving of it,
or it's unreasonable.
Yeah, I'm like, that's of course. I'm like, you know what? But what if you did know what you want? What if I told you anything that you said would come into fruition? What would you want then? It's like they've got to give themselves permission, because I think undercover they know what they want, but they're too scared to articulate it. Because like, who am I to, like, even in your episode, which I know is coming next week, guys, so you haven't heard it yet. But the thing that you kept saying, there's a word that you kept saying, like how audacious, I think was your word.
Audacity.
Like who am I to have the audacity to do that? Like I feel like, see, women have an inkling, but they're like, who am I to have the audacity to say it out loud? It's like they're waiting for a permission slip. I honestly think the women who are saying they don't know what they want is because they're too scared to articulate it and they've been told they're not worthy of it.
The other thing too is like,
so go for it.
Yeah. If you want a better sex life, let's just go there. Right?
Shani's horny. I'm living for this. Yes, Shani.
Am I?
Are you?
I'm just going there because so many people are.
Maddie's I love it. Maddie's in Bali. She might be a bit horny.
I'm solo parent.
She's like, I'm just going to go back to this. I want to write an erotica. Let's just stay with sex. But let us go there, because so many women are struggling in their sex life.
I didn't realize how many women struggle with their sex life, with their partners.
I did.
I didn't know that. I didn't know. You want a better relationship with your husband, let's just say, more intimacy, more like flirting, more fun, more whatever it is. They want it, but they don't do anything to initiate or to go and fix it or to go and have a great conversation about it. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, I'll be totally honest, when Matt and I had Rui and we were just like, what the hell? Like, we are so tired. We did not sleep for 11 months. Like, we went and sought someone to help us. I think that's normal to be able to do that.
I think it's women taking and this is something I know from you both because this is our friendship group, but I think women get to know what they want, ask for what they want, have the audacity to do it, but also like take the responsibility to
take the responsibility
to say, you know I have been tired and exhausted and lackluster in that department at the moment in the bedroom, but I'm willing, so no blaming, shaming, nagging, criticizing, I'm willing to do more, try more, have whatever. And then communication. I think responsibility and communication.
Totally. It's like you want like a more loving relationship, like talk about it.
So like I can speak into this because I feel like just listening to both of you, there'd be probably women listening to this being like, yes, I agree, but he doesn't talk about it. That's the whole responsibility piece. Because like when we're talking about even in my relationship, and I know Dan will never listen to this, it doesn't matter.
Dan's listening right now.
Hi, Dan.
But he's not usually one to initiate, but that's not me blaming him or saying that that's not important to him. That's just his, because I see a lot of women be like, my partner doesn't initiate it. Then don't blame him for doing that, because I've learned from being with him for 11 years now that we have different communication styles. So I don't wait for him to initiate. I don't wait for him to take responsibility. I don't wait for him to communicate. Doesn't mean that he's not any less invested. So I think a lot of women are waiting for the other person to do it. And if the other partner doesn't do it, they think that they care less. So like you said, just take responsibility for where you're at. And like I am often the one who initiates a conversation. He always is open and responsive and receptive. But if I was doing the whole blame shame thing, the conversation wouldn't happen. So there's a lot of women being like, it's not happening. And if it's because you're waiting for your partner to do it, I don't think it's fair, because I think people literally communicate differently. If you met my husband, a lot of people will vouch for this. If you met my husband before he met me, even our families are totally different. I'm a very loving, open, I love everyone. I'm very affectionate. Like Shen said, I'm a very open book. Yeah, he comes from a very conservative UK family, Pommy family, and I think it's a cultural thing. So he's come such a long way with his affection towards me. But if I was to hold him to the standards that I have and where I see other people hold their partners to, because that's intimate and personal for them, then those conversations would never happen. So I guess what I'm trying to say, if you're listening to this being like, it sounds easier, and maybe you have a partner that's not as open and not responsive, or not, Dan's responsive, but not as open and forthcoming, it still means you take responsibility for it. And often from my experience, it's still well received, but you still have to be the one that initiates it if you're the one who's feeling that something needs to be said or communicated.
Yeah. Go first.
Yeah, go first.
Go first. Yeah. But that's so poetic and prolific to what you just said as well. In my head, you both answered vision, and I'm going to end on that as well. But what you both just said, so it's like have the vision, responsibility, but don't wait. You were like, don't wait to have. It's the same in business. It's the same in life. It's that audacity piece of like, stop waiting for someone else to create the vision for you. Stop waiting for the man to go first. So powerful.
So powerful. But
this is the last question. And you both have all the time in the world to answer it, because I loved it so much. And I think it's exactly how we need to end. And we have answered all the questions, and you've done an outstanding job.
You have.
Well
you
done.
Have.
The hostess with the
mostest.
Guys, I know. It's fine.
This is why we got you.
However, what I want to say, and because I just think it was so poetic that I did not know what you were going to answer, obviously, but you both did say vision. And it's for that woman that feels stuck, wants more, deserves more, is looking for more. It's that more piece in their life to live that audacious, beautiful, abundant life. So what, Shani and Lozzie, is the vision for you both now? What is the next evolution of her? What is the vision that you both currently hold for your lives? Let's put them on the spot. And what does that look like, sound like, feel like, taste like? And talk about that next evolution for you. Show the women through example what a woman with a vision looks like, sounds like, tastes like. As you sip on your verb.
I was going to say, because we're so clear in it, we could probably just go on forever.
That's what I'm saying. You've got about 5 minutes each. No.
Okay, the vision from here. Well, when this decade started, 2020.
That's a vision.
My vision was to be a decamillionaire by the time the decade was over. That's right. So by 2030. Over halfway there in net worth.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like a really big one. Secondly, we like everything.
Talk about that. Hang on, because again, I'm just thinking about the woman that's listening. What does that mean? What is a decamillionaire?
So a decamillionaire is someone who has 10 million in net worth.
Powerful.
In assets.
Sit-
This is what we want to
assets.
educate
And
women on.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like people,
Let's talk about this because
Yes.
I think a lot of people always like look at people who have 50K months in recurring revenue, and I just had my first 20K month and my 100K launch, and you know that like is great marketing, but what are you doing with your money?
correct. How are you building your wealth?
How like do you earn 50K a month and then it goes out the door?
Like, is that just a 1 month pop and drop? Like what's your next 11 months look like?
This is what people should be asking. Not like how much do you earn per month? People should be asking what is your net worth? And I am so passionate about this.
And do you know
I'm
your net
pointing
worth?
now. I'm pointing because nothing grinds my gears more than someone proclaiming like astronomical figures, but they don't own property. They don't have stocks and shares. They're not investing their money in anything. They're blowing it. Like it comes in and it goes out. And that to me is not financial freedom. So I think a really good question to ask when you're looking at someone who is inspiring and creating like big money moves online is that's awesome that you earn that much, but like how are you reinvesting that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I always say like I don't care you have the Louis bag, you probably have $1 in it. Right? It's that whole like it's white teeth, rotten gums. Like how are you white teeth is a $50,000 months, but the rotten gums is the credit card debt, the lack of wealth building in the back end.
All three of us have got our funds working for us while we're sleeping. And I think that is financial empowerment.
Well, that's financial.
Can I take a little just like on this one, we're on a bit of a riff, but this is what I think is also like this is a business podcast. And while we're having a frank conversation about business is going to have months where you're like this and like this. And this is why you need to make sure you're investing your money because that gives you stability and security when business is doing this and this. I don't care what my income is.
Yeah.
Like
you're secure.
I'm secure because I have my lifestyles funded by my assets. And so that's why I think also we're talking about business podcast because it's normal for you to have good months in business. It's not always going to be like this. And especially if you're a mature business, you might have 4 years that are like this. You're going to have 4 years like this. You have 4 years like this and you have a rebirth. Like if you plan on being in business in more than a decade, welcome to the wild ride, babe.
Yeah. Strap in.
But that's why we're really passionate about empowering women with wealth creation because it's about creating wealth from your business. So yes, your business fees are cash flow, but then you reinvest it so you've got stability from your assets and your business gets to be an extension of what you love and you're doing things because you're passionate about, not because it's paying the bills.
Yeah. You're not doing it because, I need to launch this thing because I need to have a 100K launch because I'm out of cash and it's not about that.
No, it's like I love it. It's because it's my soul work and it's what lights me up and I live and dream and breathe this shit. Sorry. I hijacked, but go.
To speak to your vision and to take it back to that, the power is, and let this sink in, ladies. I just asked them, what is the vision you have? And the first response was, my decade long vision. You're not even thinking in years, 2 years, 4 years, 5. You had a decade. I'm like, I need to do better, right? Like and you. It's, by the way, we're not halfway through. It's 2024. We're only 4 years in, and you're halfway there.
Yeah,
let that sink in.
Yeah, we'll get there before then.
You'll be there in the next 2 years, mate.
Easy.
Less.
Easy.
So powerful. So what else? Okay. So that's only 10 million in 10 years. Chill. But what else, Shani?
Everything that Matt and I do and like what we work towards is to have our dream home. Like that is just like our North Star, both of us. We talk about it every day. Like if you look at the chats between Matt and I, like you and I are memes because that's why I love you. Matt and I are property or like what's on the market or like what's just sold or like reels about like really cool investment tips. And that's us right now. Like the house, it's on the beach.
I was going to say, what is it?
It's direct beachfront because the house we live in right now, we rent.
Because you're smart.
Yes, like every penny that we earn right now goes into the S&P 500, into cryptocurrency, into our projects that we're developing.
Correct.
But we want to get to a point where we can have that beachfront home owned.
Outright, I know that.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's it. So everything I do is for that vision. And when I really like anchor into what that's about like my family, my home, my security, my safe place, like where I'm going to bring my children up, where I'm going to homeschool them, where I'm going to have like dinner parties and host you girls with your kids and your men. And like that to me is just like, oh, that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
That's my how I get paid handsomely for what I do thing.
Yeah.
That's my soul contract.
So powerful though, and it's important for women to hear that as well. When you hold that vision, it is the driving force. It is the why.
Force.
It is where you move from, how you move from there, when you move from there, how you get back up when you're knocked down, why you write books when you're in the throes of motherhood, etc.
Yeah, it's why you never give up. I will never give up on that house. And then when I get there, we'll have to have this conversation.
Well, we'll be there for margaritas, obviously. Clearly. All right, Lozzie, your vision. And it need not be 10 years, but what is the vision and what do you hold?
It's very similar to like I've always done mine in 5 years. So I've got like a vision board and like on it. So like, let me just take you there. We're living in a house that's 1 street away from the beach because I hate the wind that comes with the sea.
It's actually the shittest thing about living on the beach.
I hate it. I can't relax. I want dry heat. I think it's country town. I like dry, hot heat. So I want to be away from the wind. But it's got high ceilings. I work 2-3 afternoons a week. We have a nanny that comes look after our 3 kids.
You want 3?
I want 3. Depends what my pregnancy's like with my second though.
We're seeing how the second goes.
Literally. The nanny comes 2 or 3 afternoons a week. I do my soul work in the afternoon where I work with high executive women. My hubby has his company. He loves it. He does that. That's his thing out of the home. My parents have finally moved up here. We've retired them. I'm still driving around my dream car. I love my Jeep. But yeah, I just see this home. We're already kind of living in it. So I don't mind. And same thing. We have the same goal. It was 10 million in the next 10 years. Well, by it was the decade. We travel 2 times a year because I like routine. I like stability. When we visit Dan's family over in the UK and the other one's like halfway between somewhere in like Maldives or Sri Lanka. It's a lot of family time. I just see us on the weekends with our besties having barbecues. We're drinking. The kids, we're dancing to all hours. The kids are in and out of the pool. But yeah, it's to a point where you've got your net worth that gives you the stability and it's compounding and investing. It's to the point where both me and Dan, which is what we're doing now, we do the work that we do because we love it. And it's just family for me. It's just, family and son. And like we're living it now. And I think that's also
that's the thing.
That's what grounds me every night.
Literally. This is the crazy thing about this vision, right? Like Matt and I say this all the time. It's so easy to believe that it's available because we're already there.
Yeah. The feelings are here. Like you feel those feelings today too.
Yeah. And I like to go all spiritual on you.
And then sexy, apparently.
Number one thing about manifestation. It's like you have this desire, but you have it already. Like find where you have it already. And we sit in relish in that every single day. We're like, we want what we have now, but more of.
Yeah.
Like bigger because we're worthy of more of what we have already. Like we're already abundant, but we're allowed to be more abundant.
And it's because I have this conversation with Dan every night after our days. I'm like, what are we grateful for? And it's like, we absolutely freaking love our life. Like we're living the life we've always wanted. And I never take that for granted. And sometimes you might take it for granted throughout the day when you're hustling towards your next goal. But every time we go to bed, I anchor in where we're at. And when I look at my vision board, really the only thing I see on it that's different is there's a picture of these 2 kids. And I can tell they're about 5 and 7. So it tells me it's pretty much doing what we're doing now. Like 5 years time, they're on a boat and we're sailing the San Blas Islands. I'm like, it's just more of what we've got now, just amplified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, but that only comes into fruition when you stick at it. You stay in your lane, you hold the vision, you surround yourself with the right people. Cause like I don't expect it to be like this. And to be honest,
it's not life.
It isn't. Like behind the scenes. I think we try to be very transparent. Like we don't try only share the good bits, but I think we've got so good at seeing the good in life that everyone's shit's happening. We both are pretty good at seeing like, oh, like what's the lesson in this or what's the silver lining in this? Like it's not like we pretend. We've just trained our brain so well to be like, this is part of the fucking journey. Like what do you got for me next? Let's go like sick puppies. Like you punch me and I'm out. Like, what do you got next? Like, come at me.
It's so powerful. And I think for everyone listening, congratulations, right? Like I think you are everything you just said every word that you said, every answer that you gave is just the true living embodiment of who you both are. I think that the fact that you both show up for this podcast, it's 100 episodes in, I know it's so successful, is a testament to who you are. So congratulations. And I think that people need to keep listening, because for me, I know if you've just heard those visions of you both, you are women who are going to achieve that, and you're not gatekeepers. So this is Babes Talking Business. It may rebrand in years to come, who knows? But ultimately, as a listener, you get to keep coming along on the journey of watching two badass women achieve visions, not gatekeep, and take everyone along the way as you go and help other women succeed, which I just think is the most honorable, tremendous thing in the world. So congrats to you girls.
Thanks,
and you
honey.
queens.
I love you.
I would choose
100. I'm like over here on
Do you want to sip at mine?
No Man's Island.
Yes, I will actually.
But I love you. Congratulations.
Thanks,
100
darling.
episodes.
Love you. Thank you for interviewing us.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
being
wasn't
here
so
for the
bad.
wild ride too.
I was
I
really
kept it
nervous.
as PG as I could, and you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Stay for the uncut version.
Yeah.